The 1/5 scale Arrma Raider drivetrain. 4-wheel drive when you want it, accelerating and coming to a stop, and 2-wheel drive when you're up to speed and want to hang loose. Let's find out how it works. What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. We've got a great one today. We have the new Arrma Raider chassis and we are building it out, guys. This could be my most important basher video I have ever done in the hobby. I'm about to nerd out on you guys. I hope you guys will stay with me till the end because this is some absolutely groundbreaking stuff we're about to talk about. So let's dive right into it. So our problem with racers and bashers, we want to get all of that power down planted to the rear end and be able to cut those corners and get out of the hole quick. We want to be able to stop, but we want to be able to have the ability to jump our RC and come down and not be able to hurt those internals throughout our drivetrain. So what people do is they lock up the center diff so that all the power gets to the rear and both the front. But what does that do? That will damage your internal parts when you're jumping. Even small jumps will damage your differentials. So that's really no good. So what do people do? They use an open diff and they put like earplugs, any kind of big silicone that will have a high rate of resistance so that they can get the simulated power to all four wheels. However, it's not going to damage your internals when you go jumping your RC off of the big ramp of your choice. So how do we get around those two immovable points of physics? You really can't get around it, and that was my problem in designing this. I wanted this to be a racer, but I also wanted to be able to take berms, take jumps. I don't think we're going to be taking this off any big jumps, but still your average track has a few 3 to 6 foot jumps, and we wanted to be able to do that with our new 1/5 scale Arrma Raider. Is this thing not looking sick, guys? I'm really happy with it. I really think that this might be my best work yet. Of course, I say that about all the builds I'm working on, but as we learn more and more about the hobby and learn to apply it, of course, our skill level and our builds will get better and better. So what makes this drivetrain so different and unique that you're able to use both the locked up and the open differentials? Let me explain how all this works, because this is actually it's so simple it's complicated. So put on your physics cap for a minute for me, and let's go back to 10th grade physics, and let me show you what makes this drivetrain unique and unlike any other basher on the market today. So as you guys can see right here, I've chosen a dual motor system. We've got a different motor mount we're working with. We're trying to keep this extremely lightweight. As you guys can see that I have used some Arrma 6 diff bulkheads and all of the fixins right there. Basically what you would see on a 6S Creighton, and this is what we're going to be using, and let me tell you why this is the best way to do it. We're experimenting with a different drivetrain, okay? So this differential right here, as you guys can see, it is locked up. We're actually using the infraction differential, and this is all locked up front and back. So 100% of our power from our power plant leaves both sides of this differential. The rear is opened. We don't want a locked up rear differential. We want to be able to get around the corners and that sort of thing, but we want all of our power to get to the rear because everybody has seen a Arrma basher taking off, and you see those front tires just ballooning like crazy as it works its way up into a wheelie. Not realistic at all, and really a poor performance from that point of view. You don't want all of your power going to wheels that are off the ground. It's not going to do anything for your RC. So that's why a lot of people choose to have the locked up differential. Okay, so how is it that this RC can make a jump with a locked up differential and another one can't? Well, let me explain. What we've done is we've used a second differential, and I know a lot of people are probably already commenting, well, that's the most expensive carrier bearing I've ever seen. And they would be right, but that's not what we're doing here with this center diff. This is a carrier bearing, so to speak. However, it does have a function. So what we're doing right here is this is going to allow a certain amount of power to get up front. It's not going to allow 100% of that power to make it up to the front of the drivetrain. And we don't want it there, guys. These tires are not going to be pulling anything. These are ribbed, they're smooth, and they're for holding the turns as you're driving through the sand. However, if you've ever driven through the sand doing a bash, sometimes you actually get stuck even with sand paddle tires. And that's because you're basically plowing the front of your two-wheel drive sand racer into the sand, and it just snow plows. It's not going to go anywhere. Sometimes you got to go give it a little kick and let it go. This has four-wheel drive when you're taking off, and it has four-wheel drive when you come to a stop. But once this side of the differential and this side of the differential are equated, meaning you're not really accelerating, you're relatively staying around the same speed, you're in two-wheel drive. There is relatively no pull going to the front tire. So you're basically cruising. That's going to save your battery, and it's going to allow you to do some kind of different tricks and get a little out of control like you would want to see on a sand racer. Or if you put different tires on it, you could play in the gravel, the dirt, or whatever. So really all we want in a sand dragster or whatever, you want the front tires pulling you, not really pulling you, but guiding you. Sometimes the movement, just the movement of those front tires is enough to help guide you and keep you straight while you're going through the sand. If you guys are sand racers, this should all be making sense to you guys. So right now we have 100% of the power making it to the rear, and we have about 30% of our power making it to the front. So we've really got the best of both worlds. Now, what you could do is, if you notice, it catches. We have earplugs in here. However, if you were to, let's say we hold this part of the diff right here and we turn the front tires, you guys can see, well, let's see if I can get a grip here. You see that turn in the front? Look at that. So basically, you're able to have the best of both worlds with this drivetrain. So gosh, this thing is a beast of balance. Thing has a 26-inch wheelbase, guys. This thing is going to be so much fun. So basically, we get four-wheel drive when we want it, two-wheel drive when we don't. We save power. We get to have a little bit of fun. It'll still do all the wheelies that the Traxxas Funco will do, but you don't have to worry about any adjusting of the brakes because you've got four-wheel drive when you come to a stop. And you have four-wheel drive when you're coming out accelerating. But as the two of these sides even out, you're then in two-wheel drive. So I'm really excited about this, guys. I know it may sound simple, and yes, these are all parts that you can buy, but I have not seen a drivetrain setup in this configuration before. I'm really excited about being able to have both a locked up rear differential and an open front differential, because that's pretty much what everyone's after. The only problem is you have to have a second center differential to absorb that power. And if you don't, well, then you basically are limited to one differential, and you have to put in a lock differential for racing and an open differential for bashing. And I think that this, being set up the way it is going to be very worthwhile. I think this is going to be the future of 1/5 scale bashers. Even though we might not be able to see it today, I think that this is going to catch on at some point. The only problem is you need space. You need a lot of real estate to be able to put in another diff. Fortunately, for us, we had a long drivetrain that just, it wasn't going to be able to hold a drive shaft that long and not wobble and just become a mess of itself. So you have to have a carrier bearing of some kind. And in our case, we were actually trying to put together a drivetrain that we could have a locked up rear end and an open front end, still having open front and open rear. See, this allows you to turn, guys. So, and this allows you to bash, and this guy will allow you to get out of the hole super, super quick, guys. Very excited with where this is going, and this is just leading into our next build. I'm hopefully going to have this done by the end of May, and this was going to debut at the Horizon Hobby Fest, but we are going to debut this at Rock the Ozarks 2025, and we couldn't be happier with how this is turning out. Guys, if you're interested in this drivetrain and you want to see how it performs, you want to see if I'm right or if I'm wrong, like and subscribe. Welcome to the Radioactive RC family. This is the kind of crazy stuff you're going to see on this channel. Builds, bashers, pullers, crawlers, you name it. We push the limits of the RC hobby. All right, guys, until the next one, we will see you Radioheads later.